As the affirmative team, the first speaker, we support this motion code. This has believed the National Space Agency should prioritize funding for planetary climate research mission, Venus over space colonization, or resource extraction mission, Mars. Think if you see a spacecraft that lost in space. It's been drifting, not dead, not exploding, not useless, but it was drifting for 6 years. This is not fake. This is not science fiction. It's actually true. In 2010, JAXA relaunched a spacecraft called Akatsuki towards Venus. It's supposed to just take pictures of Venus. Due to engine failure, it missed orbit due to the pole's gravity of the sun. People thought this was over, but instead of that, 6 years later, the salvage. This is the most important here. The most important spacecraft just came back over 6 years. This is not just about resilience. This is about prioritizing. Let's start as the first speaker for affirmative team's claims for this motion. For all this definition, framing, and arguments. Start with the definition. Planetary climate research mission means top mission about the temperatures, about the weather, and also the climate. While colonization means that moving place to place like migration. Or extraction mission means planned missions to get something or save something from space to bring back from safety. We'll start with the most important information here. It's framing. We're going to talk about and show you about the planet missions, about the insight of climate change, also the first the effect of critically. What is resulting with also years not like colonization. We learned about duty, protecting our Earth, and before investing. Let's start with the first argument is planetary climate research is essential to understanding. This is about saving our climate. It's not just about understanding. But here, we'll show diver into this argument about saving our climate. We'll understand first here in our understanding of studies is Venus is mostly called Earth's toxic twin because it's nearly the same size as Earth and composition to our planet Earth itself. Also the hellscape. But the surface melts lead and the atmosphere is full of carbon dioxide, and inside you must see some of the greenhouse gases rising upwards. This is pretty amazing, but be call here is a warning. Because why? Akatsuki mission here is not just to take pictures and just study. What is here is study the mission, study about Venus, about thickness and its systems, and the climate dynamics, and understand the greenhouse gases surrounding it. And imagine if we are the same and having all these greenhouse gases, emissions, and atmosphere throughout here, then what will be extreme. This will revert to Earth average temperatures, but only even though Earth is Venus is over Earth temperatures by 1 Celsius, but these might seem very small or inappropriate to say. But the thing here is very large because here, this is driving massive climate for all the global if we are Venus. We study Venus for this future inspection. What if there's something that have climate collapsing? And we study them not just for study, not just for understanding Venus, but to understand and surviving our own climate and saving our Earth. Just understanding all of those problems and what we may have. This is not guessing, this is observing. Let's start to our second argument is colonization and resource extraction and our long-term fantasies. This argument is not about fantasies, it's not about ponies, it's not about unicorns, but it's about something else. It's about the solution. What do we need in this argument? We need here to be clear. Colonizing Mars is mostly about extracting some of our asteroid sources. To me, this is absolutely amazing, right? About how we understand why do we really ask the star sources. We can power up our engines, we can fly up to the sky, and we can study Mars forever. since Mars on the head right now. Plus, this might sound exciting, but this is not a solution to Earth's problems. We're going to solution the Earth problem, the climate change, where the Earth's temperatures are hotter, and this caused the icebergs to melt it, also the ice in the sea. This caused loss of the climate habitat, where the bears are moving into our city in BBC News and YouTube, where it shows us some examples of bears moving to community itself and causing all damage problems. Plus, they lost their home and make them dying as ever. Second, they make me lose our habitat and making more temperatures, making us and our Earth hotter, which create human really exhausting, since they don't really like too much hard pressure. Plus, this caused atmosphere to become blocked, and our atmosphere is filled with something very bad, like all these greenhouse gases and carbon dioxide. But also, we show you some of the Mars problems. It's hostile and has no breathable atmosphere. It's full with extreme radiation and temperatures that can dropped 80 degrees. This proved, for example, in SpaceX, it suggests that decades before human existence will be in Mars. This might be, even though we might be wrong, this might be some small population living there. But what about the others? Others are they gonna living on Earth as possible? We just left a tiny, all this tiny fraction just going to Mars, while us is staying back in Earth. Isn't that exciting? All the noble people just staying on Earth forever? But here's the problem. They just consider Mars the most hot topic, but didn't understand Earth at all. We might see climate change as important, but they didn't understand the power of what we might do because we didn't enhance it yet. Only a small population of scientists on Earth, or us normal, understand this and try to help as best as they can, while the large population ignored and justified it, saying that this will be important. Decades later, it will be currently collapsing. Plus, also here, the resource extraction mission is important. It requires huge amounts of investment and also technology. And decades before meaningful things happen to Mars and us to understand Mars as much as that. Meanwhile, climate change happening now, like floods in Southeast Asia, firewoods and a wildfire in California and also Australia, rising sea levels threatening island nations. These are all crises. To us happening, the people are damaging, because this is climate change in our actions. If we just focus on something important, all of us, then we can honor and help our Earth to be more better, and then just continue our research in all those Mars. This priority, colonization over climate change. It's like moving house while your house is on fire. So even though the opposition might say that, well, this is totally important because even though it might say that studying all these are more important than Earth, but think about it again. Since we want to understand Mars, or maybe we want to change our homes, but what if our home was already there and we didn't have time to move? This might be false, not really impossible, but this can. Since we don't really understand our priority, and Earth have the most resources the human has. We may move and study the others while they did not have too much resources the human needs, like air, CO2 air, then we might be dying anyway. Earth might be repopulated back, but that is decades before we humans step back. Well, to preserve, understand, and then just focus on the space itself, but focus on our first and our most important Earth always. So in conclusion, we proved you that opposition is wrong, and we showed you someone like moving a house is like moving your house on fire. And on this everything mechanism and all these were important. Our two arguments were increasingly about climate change, about how all these Venus may be. That's why we proved that this house and its motions is totally wrong, and we proved not totally wrong. I was just saying opposition is wrong, but we are the right. So thank you for listening.